Were you denied by Veterans United or another lender because your credit score was under 620? That does not automatically mean you cannot get a VA loan. If you watch through this video, I'm going to show you how you can still get a VA loan even if your score is under 620. I'll give you the actionable steps and show you real examples of clients and veterans all across the country and show you exactly how we can get you in a home even if your credit score is below a 620. My name is Frye. In my past life, I was a Marine Corps infantry officer. I deployed, I PCS'd, I used my VA loan. I trained on the East Coast, was stationed on the West Coast at Camp Pendleton, and now I live in beautiful Colorado Springs, helping veterans all over the country every single day use their VA loan benefit. I specialize in helping veterans earn the home loan benefit they are entitled to. Honestly, I'm a super boring guy. I help veterans with VA loans, spend time with my family, and make videos like this, trying to educate, empower, and equip veterans to build wealth through real estate. You earn this benefit, now let's help you use it. Before we get into the video, if there's a specific VA loan topic or a specific city you want me to make a video about, subscribe to the channel and drop it in the comments, because we make VA loan videos every single week to help more veterans use their VA loan and start building wealth through real estate. Why veterans get denied. So let's talk about why this happens. A lot of companies have what are called overlays. An overlay is an extra company rule layered on top of normal VA guidelines. So if you go to the VA pamphlet 26-7, this is what we call the pub in the Marine Corps. These are all the rules about the VA. These are the baselines that the Department of Veteran Affairs needs to use to get you approved for a loan. Some lenders follow those minimum standards, and that's how I've been able to get so many veterans into a house using their VA loan. Other lenders add rules and add extra restrictions because they want less risk. One of the biggest overlays I see time and time again is a 620 minimum credit score. So a veteran applies, gets denied, and assumes, well, I guess I can't use a VA loan. This is not always true and oftentimes not the case. A company may be saying no because of their company overlays or company rules, not because the Department of Veteran Affairs says you are disqualified. Another major reason veterans get denied is late payments in the last 12 months. This is a huge factor in VA underwriting. Another reason veterans get denied is because not meeting residual income. We'll explain a little bit more what residual income is. The VA does not actually care about debt to income ratio. This is a lender requirement. So if you hear that you've been denied because of DTI, you might want to talk to somebody else. A lot of those DTI restrictions are lender overlays. What the VA really focuses on is residual income. Here's a residual income chart. Residual income means after all your bills are paid, do you still have enough money left over every month to realistically live? The VA takes into account child care expenses, child support, taxes, car payments, credit cards, and any other liabilities that are on your credit report, student loans, etc. The VA also takes into account your family size. The VA still wants to make sure that at the end of each month you have enough money to comfortably and affordably live. This, in my opinion, is actually a really good thing, and it protects veterans from getting too much of a mortgage payment that they can't afford. So if you look at this chart, what you'll see is depending on what your family size is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or plus, look at the state, look at the section, the region that you live in. You need to have that much money left over in your account at the end of every single month. And this is all the VA cares about. They don't care about debt to income ratio. So if you've been denied for debt to income ratio, you might want to talk to another lender. Now let's talk about the next thing that the VA cares about. They care about late payments. If you've had late payments, we need to show the underwriter your situation has changed. The best way we can demonstrate that is rebuilt payment history. Now let's talk about different income types and other reasons you could get denied. Some income types are viewed as extremely stable, and I, as well as your underwriter, are going to love this. This includes VA disability income. This looks amazing to underwriters, as well as Social Security income. The reason these are great is because they're stable, they're predictable, and they're also tax-free. So we're actually able to leverage more of that income and count more of that income because you're not getting taxed like a standard W-2 employee. The next best thing that you can have is hourly or salary W-2 income. Underwriters love consistency, they love predictability, they love that your income is guaranteed. As long as you show up, you're going to get paid. There's no red tape, there's no contingencies. This is great. The least favorable income the underwriters like the least, that has the most scrutiny, is commissioned income. Commissioned is great. We love commission-based jobs, but they're variable and they can be volatile. There can be conditions based on how much money you make. So the underwriter wants to see at least 2 years history in order to use this to qualify for a VA loan. So let me give you an example of a real client that got denied by Veterans United. Check out this credit report right here. This might look like your credit report, something like this. This score was way below 620, so a lot of other lenders denied this client. What you can see here is 30-day late payments in 2023, 60-day late payments in 2024, and even a 90-day late payment as recently as April 2024. Most lenders immediately deny this loan, and this veteran did get denied by a large mortgage company. But here's what changed. After April 2024, his VA disability income increased. He got all of his accounts on auto pay and he stopped missing payments cold turkey. That is the key, because we were able to demonstrate consistency, predictable income, and rebuilt credit behavior. We closed this loan exactly 1 year later after his last major late payment on a vehicle. I explain this to veterans with regard to late payments. Think about the rifle range. When you're shooting, you want a nice, tight grouping, center massive target. This tells the rifle instructor that this person is disciplined. This person is consistent. This person understands the fundamentals of marksmanship. Now imagine somebody else comes in and they're shooting all over the place. They don't even hit the target. They got late payments all over. You would probably think that this person needs to go back to grass week. And that is exactly what underwriters think about scattered late payments. There's shots all over the silhouette. That tells underwriting this person needs to go back to the basics. We need to show consistency. We need to show control. We need to show discipline with regard to making our payments. The saying goes, whoever is faithful in little will be faithful in much. That's exactly how underwriting reviews payment history. So are all late payments created equally? No. There's a difference between installments, like a vehicle late, and credit card or revolving lates. Now let's talk about installment loans versus credit card lates. Installment lates are treated much more seriously. What is an installment late? This includes car loans, unfortunately, student loans, mortgages, obviously. Rent is treated as an installment, so the VA really cares that we have 2 years of on-time rent history. Revolving accounts are things like credit cards and store cards, sometimes after-pay accounts. Let's just simplify it and think credit card. If you have 1 or 2 isolated credit cards, that stuff happens. Sometimes, your auto pay wasn't set up, it got overdrafted. We can understand that. But if your vehicle payment has been late multiple times in the last 12 months, that becomes a much bigger issue, because underwriting starts asking, if this person can't consistently make their car payment, can they consistently make a mortgage payment? And that's a fair question, and I agree with that. Why do I agree with that? Because if you miss your car payment, you might miss your mortgage payment. If you miss your mortgage payment, you could foreclose on your house. And if you foreclose on your house, that could immediately and forever impact your ability to get another VA loan in the future. Okay, so what do we actually need to prove? Usually what we require is 12 months of clean payment history, stable qualifying income, and sufficient residual income. A clear explanation for what changed, so like that veteran who I was telling you about. He didn't have as much income and then his VA disability increased. That's a clear change in their circumstances. And if we can demonstrate those things, there's a very good chance we can still get the loan approved, even if your score is below 620. Now, sometimes you will not check every single box. Let me give you an example. I had a client who had late payments as recently as 2 months before we got them pre-approved to buy their house. Those late payments were on student loans. Now, usually if you have late payments on student loans, deal killer. You got to wait 12 months and reestablish payment history, but there was something different about these clients. After talking with them, we found out that their child was actively undergoing chemotherapy treatment. They were not checking their email. They were not checking their physical mail. They did not even realize the student loans had become due. And I don't know about you, but I agreed with that. When you have a child in the hospital, you're not focused on a lot of other stuff, so it made sense how they didn't check their email and they didn't check their mail. And that is what underwriting calls an extenuating circumstance. This was beyond their control, isolated, and unlikely to happen again. I'm going to say that again. We want our extenuating circumstances to be isolated, beyond your control, and unlikely to happen again, because we can document that situation. We can prove that situation actually occurred. Here are some other examples of valid extenuating circumstances. Natural disasters such as hurricanes. I've had a client who a tree fell on their roof and they had some major expenses and they had to get a generator and they had to get more food, and we were still able to get this loan done. A sudden loss of income, major medical emergencies. Things that are not considered extenuating circumstances is Christmas spending, divorce on itself, overspending, poor budgeting. You just forgot, didn't have your account on auto pay. You should probably go back to the drawing board, go back to grass week, and requalify in the rifle range. That's what the underwriter is going to say. So what's our path forward after denial? First, get a second opinion from somebody who actually understands VA loans. Maybe that person's used a VA loan and that person's a veteran and they specialize in VA loans. Maybe. Second, figure out whether you were denied because of a company overlay or because of an actual VA guideline issue. Third, you need to build the game plan. A lot of the veterans I talk with don't have a game plan when we first talk. They don't even know what their monthly payment should be. So you need to get with somebody who's going to do an initial loan consultation with you, who's going to be able to identify if you need 3 months, 6 months, or a full 12 months. You need somebody who can give you a clear action step and a plan of attack. I'll just tell you for free what my clear action steps usually are when somebody doesn't qualify. Get every single account on auto pay. You are too busy to not have computers helping you pay your bills. Number 2, increase your income and stabilize your income. Hourly pay, salary pay, VA disability, Social Security. These all help tremendously. Number 3, save money. You do not always need money for a VA loan, but having reserves makes underwriting much more comfortable. And finally, stick to the process long enough to rebuild your payment history. The longer and more beautiful our payment history is, the easier it is to get you approved. The biggest mistake veterans make is assuming one lender saying no means the answer is permanently no. That is not true. A denial is not always a dead end. Sometimes it simply means you talked to the wrong lender. You ran into a company overlay, or you need a better game plan. You earned this benefit. Let's use it the right way. If you were denied for a VA loan because your score was under 620, reach out to me directly. My contact information is in the video notes. It's in the description below. You can also look me up, Dallas Frye VA Loans. I'd love to help you figure out where this is a hard stop or whether we simply need a better action plan. If this video helped you, subscribe to the channel, because we're going to continue putting out weekly content on VA loan education without the fluff. If there's a specific VA loan topic or city you want me to cover, let me know in the comments, because I make VA loan videos every single week.